Hi everyone, I want to talk about the Season 26 theme, the Echoing Nightmare, yet again, and I have decided to do a funny little challenge. I took literally the worst build in the game, Trag'oul Corpse Lance, an F tier solo pushing build, into this mode, and obviously this is also a build that is not only weak, but also extremely squishy. Anyone who knows this build from back in the day, from Necromancer release times, knows that this is a glass cannon, and it also has absolutely zero AoE potential. So pretty much the worst case scenario for a game mode where you're supposed to stand in the middle and blast everything around you. You have these corpse lances, they are single target damage abilities, and you also have to actually aim at enemies to actually target them and deal damage to them. So you have to essentially single out every single one, and yeah, it is basically the most scuffed thing you can do. So I tried to get to wave 150 to see how easy it actually is to do so. I know there were like a lot of complaints about this game mode being too hard or too hardcore unfriendly because there's these meteors coming from the sky and there's so much stuff going on with the elites and all this kind of stuff. But the thing is that this game mode is actually very easy and there's not really much to worry about. Now I have 2000 paragons, that's not exactly a lot. You're gonna have that very quickly next season because this game mode rewards you with a ton of experience. So we're gonna see probably people reaching 2000 in like literally the first 24 hours of the season. So this is probably what to expect. And also here in this game mode, you have all those pylons that help you out. So as it is right now, you start with a shield, a power, a channeling, and a conduit. And if you click them in the correct order at the right moment, you essentially auto-win with pretty much any build imaginable. Also, I didn't try to optimize my character too much, so I don't have super crazy gear. I just reforged a few items that were kind of okay, augmented a few pieces and went in there. And I guess this can definitely be way stronger with better gear, with more paragons, with, maybe trying it out. Anyway, Corpse Lance Trag'ouls is not exactly a build that anyone will ever play in there. This was more of like a proof of concept, what I wanted to do here. And it turns out that even with this build, it is actually quite possible to get to wave 150. Now, I barely missed it. I tried it like 3 times or so, and each time I went to like 146 and 147. So I was missing like 3 waves, 4 waves or something like this. It is, definitely a bit of a different pace and way weaker than what other builds I've tried. So obviously I also had to learn the timings a little bit. For example, I think in this round, this was like my first one, I think. I clicked the shield pylon way too early, for example, because I was a bit scared. And usually you want to combine it with the power and the channeling together. So here I just took it a bit too early and didn't press the other pylons because I wanted to squeeze out a bit more time before I clicked the other pylons, which led me in the end to not having more shield pylon for the conduit. So the usual strategy to do this fast and efficiently is to kind of blast your way to like wave 100 or so, and then click the shield and the power and the channeling, even if the channeling doesn't do much for your builds and maybe you could skip it. And then you wait 1 minute until those pylons disappear, and then you should be somewhere at like wave 120, 125 or even higher. And from that point forward, the conduit pylon alone with the shield, just you walking around, will carry the entire thing to 150. And then this is the cap of the rewards. This is where you end. And even if you have leftover conduit, you just run a circle away from the enemies or something. And if you do it correctly and you're not playing a build like this, then you will do this whole encounter in 3 to 4 minutes. You can do it even faster. You can do it even sub 2 minutes with something like a Marauder DH, which is probably the best build to play in this mode for probably quite obvious reasons as well. And you can get insane amounts of loot, insane amounts of XP in particular, and those new Whisper of Atonement gems at rank 125, which you then can use for augmenting. So this is amazing, and it is very easy to do so in the current form. In fact, I believe it is too easy. So there was this PTR update a few days ago, and this was, just adding a lot of stuff like the elites and the bosses, these meteors falling from the sky, the molten explosions. There are these fallen lunatics that come in. Sometimes even a bandit shrine that spawns in a corner. So lots of cool stuff. But the thing is that you have a shield pylon, you just completely ignore pretty much everything. And the conduit just carries you to victory. So I'm not really sure if this is intended, but it seems like every run is very similar and it's very easy to actually reach the cap. Now this is not necessarily a bad thing, so if this petrified scream that opens this echoing nightmare is kind of like a rare item, then this is just like a kind of loot pinata style reward, I guess. So you just go in, you blast away to 150 and that's it. Enjoy your free XP. But I think that with the current iteration, with all those pylons involved, it makes it a bit too stale, a bit too repetitive. And even though there's seemingly a lot of stuff going on with all these environmental effects and elites and stuff, it is simply, yeah, cheesy. So you just cheese your way to victory with the pylons, and you don't really have to have a strong build, as you can see quite evidently. So I believe that some stuff should change here to make it even more exciting. First of all, I think the rewards should also change a little bit. Right now you always get like a very typical kind of like a GR loot chest. So there's nothing special in there, a bunch of blood shards, a bunch of items, that's it. I think this could be made more spicy, more interesting by maybe sometimes giving other bonus rewards. Or for example, you have a chest that drops a ton of regular gems because you're actually going to be in great need of those if you want to use all those Whisper of Atonements you're getting. Or maybe something that drops a lot of bounty mats. Maybe there could be a chest that drops only ancient items or even only primals, like super rare spawn or something like that. Or maybe occasionally you get like one very specific valuable item, let's say something like a Convention of Elements or Squirt's necklace. You know, like a few of these like very precious jewelry pieces or weapons. And it just drops like 10 times the same one at all, and something like this. I don't know, there could be some really interesting stuff here. This is a new special game mode, and it should be special in other ways as well than just what you're doing there. And for the gameplay itself, I think that pylons just make it too predictable, too monotonous, and this should also change. So I like that there's a lot of stuff going on, but you simply do not care about it. And I think that all the pylons straight up should be removed. So I think it's nice to have them in there, but I think they could be like random spawns, or maybe after every single boss that you kill, there's like a bunch of bosses spawning once in a while. There's like one random pylon popping up somewhere, so that you don't always have a sheer pylon to completely ignore everything that the game mode throws at you, or you don't always have the conduit to cheese the last 20 waves, but you just have to play around a bit what you're getting, because this is also similar to what you do in Greater Rifts. You play around what you have. Not only this shield pylon, but there are also other ways to cheese this right now. For example, with Gold Drop and Boon of the Hoarder, that actually works in here. So this is not like a Greater Rift scenario where you can just not find any gold. In fact, you can get gold from every single kill here. So it's very easy to just become immortal anyway. So I believe this should be fixed regardless. But right now this is also an option, and some people do that. Or for example, for those meteors that fall from the sky, I also saw people using Amara's Kaleidoscope that gives you poison damage immunity and heals you for poison damage taken. So there are also options like this, I believe. And it would be way more interesting if the runs weren't so predictable and there would be more random stuff going on. And actually having the feeling of, you know, defeating one of these bosses that spawn and then spawning the power pylon next to you or something like this, it would feel just much more rewarding, much more awesome for trying to progress to a higher level and actually challenge your build to go all the way to 150 in a little bit. Now I believe that if you remove the pylons, most of the top builds will do that rather easily anyway. There could also be some other little rewards during the run, like instead of a pylon you might just get a normal shrine, but it would also be a little something, so that maybe every time you defeat one of these waves there's like a little chance that it spawns, similar to the bandit shrine, so that you can get a little power up here and there. Or maybe there could even be some other like special power-ups that appear in this. Maybe there could even be the Triune rings from Season 18, the season theme. So stuff like this could also be kind of interesting to put into a game mode like this, I believe. Perhaps this could even be some kind of arena where, you know, occasionally you encounter the old season themes that we know from other seasons. So you get like these rings, or you get like the Season 19 kill streak, or the Season 21 kill streak, or something like this, Could also be kind of funny to just see that coming back in like a little timed arena, and you have like these crazy effects going on everywhere. Just some ideas I wanted to throw out there. I believe that compared to the first version, the Echoing Nightmare has definitely seen some massive improvements already, but especially the Pylons and the availability of all 4 Pylons in every single run, I believe makes it a little bit too easy, too cheesy, and that should be changed. I know a lot of people will be very unhappy with what I just said, but I don't want to make it necessarily much harder. I just want to make it, less streamlined, less like, one path to victory. Because right now you can literally time it and you do like your typical 3-minute run on like a non-terrible build. And then you click the Pylon exactly at wave 100, and then you click the conduit exactly at wave 120, and you will always end exactly at 150. So this is how it goes, and I think this monotony of it should be broken, especially if we are supposed to do this for hundreds of times in a season. Trust me, even with all the stuff going on, it will get kind of boring after a while, and this is the main season theme and the main activity that we'll probably end up doing next time around. So this is the main reason why I want to see those changes, and maybe some other future tweaks, and also potentially more rewards, because we expect to get a lot of rewards from the season theme. We expect to gain powerful effects and character buffs and all that stuff, and we do get that to some degree from the big XP and from the augments, but not really. So maybe there could also be some other little something thrown in there for the actual live patch that just adds some extra spice to the season. So this is what I wanted to share here. I think the season could be even more exciting than it already is. Personally, I'm looking very much forward to playing it, but I also hope that, especially in the few weeks that we still have up to the season release, there's going to be some further updates, potentially even past the PTR, and some stuff that will surprise us on the actual season launch. That would be pretty amazing, so I'm looking forward to that very positively. And if you have any other feedback or ideas of your own for the devs, then now's the time to share them, let them be seen, and hopefully we're gonna get some really cool season theme in the end. So hope you liked this little video, and see you guys next time.